Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, we'll be facing a familiar opponent that we may call Factory Master. And I'll actually be trying to play War Factory into him just to see, if, can we contest the Factory Master for his title. Now, he'll be going for a supply specialist with the fangs and the sledgehammers, and I decided to go for, I believe, a typhoon specialist. I was just kind of trying to find a pack that would give me some type of economic advantage. So either, typhoon spec or, well, I guess Farseer spec doesn't exist anymore at the moment. But, anything that can give me a little bit of an economic advantage. So cost control, supply spec would be in there as well, but sadly he's the one who has that. But it'll take him 6 rounds to get even, right, with my 300 cost typhoon. And I will get that on round 4, so I should be in an okay spot. He does get to start with sledgehammers, which I think is very nice for him. I don't really want to keep sabers because the thing about this guy is you always know what he's going to be doing on round 4, and that is buy a factory with efficient maintenance. And considering that that's going to be the case, I don't think the sabers will be that useful. And I was just going to try to copy him. That's really what I was trying to do here. So you will see that my fang positioning is almost identical to his. I also kind of copied his hound positioning because he really loves to play that. We put them really far back. I believe that is, he does that because hounds have pretty low range and they are somewhat faster. So it's nice if they arrive a little bit late and then can chaff clear whatever small units are still alive. He decides to go for hounds as well, positioning slightly more forward than where I put them. And we're just going to have to see how we do against him, because I'm also going to aim for a round 4 factory, and then we'll just see what happens from there. Now, factory was actually the very first new unit to get added into the game, all the way back at the end of 2023, I believe. And when it got released, it very quickly became a meta unit. Especially Spawned Factory was way more powerful back then, and everyone was playing it. So I've had my fair share of games into Spawned Factory way back when. And what you used to do is, if you would end up in a mirror, you would go for things like EMP Stormcallers to try and kind of bait out a tech, like Missile Intercept. Of course, Mustang Intercept wasn't as strong back then, so now you could probably get away with that. You would try and go Phoenix Spawn with EMP, or you would try to go for Battle Factory techs. So you would give your factory range, you would maybe give it overload, and you would simply try to kill all of the spawn units, because war factories are pretty good into things like sledgehammers and steel balls if you have a little bit of range between them. Now, round number 2, I decided to skip, I believe, or rather no, it was a unit drop, so we picked up the marksman. I will need some anti-air. You will see that the positioning is identical, but we're mirrored on the side of the board. And also the storm positioning is identical. I literally was just trying to copy what he likes to do and see how I would fare. We have sold our saber, so we should be a bit weaker. Of course, I don't have any chaff up front, so some of my storms got instantly targeted, but that's fine. We did well the first round to do some damage, and honestly here we're doing a fine job as well of clearing at least a good amount of units, so we shouldn't take too much damage. Marksman here, going to clean up those Stormcallers. Maybe the debuff favors us as well. That one, not too bad. Doesn't really amount to anything. And we'll be able to get a debuff in return, kill the Marksman, and then kill maybe 1 or 2 more Stormcallers. Looks like it's just going to be the one. And as my remaining Stormcallers try to kill some sledges, they will at least kill 1, and that'll be all she wrote. But pretty happy with that round. Now, I need to put some chaff up front. He has some fangs over there. I prefer to put down some crawlers because at least crawlers might be able to dodge the Stormcaller shots, whereas fangs would just, straight up tank them like his are now doing. And here we just skipped. And I have to keep, I believe, 350 in the bank to be able to have 1150 next turn, which would get me a factory unlock, a factory, and the efficient maintenance tech. We're going to keep a little bit extra because I just decided to go for double crawlers. And I will be able to sell this Sabertooth as well. Now, I am going to sell that immediately because next turn I know I will have my Typhoon. And if I can sell that too, we're going to be in a really good spot. Looks like I will decide to go for maybe one more chaff unit. Oh, another marksman on the right side. to at least have some form of anti-air, and then we'll keep 600 in the bank moving into round 4 to be able to afford a war factory. And we might even be able to tech it, and that would be awfully nice. In fact, I'm pretty sure we should be able to tech it, because we're going to have 300 extra after selling that Typhoon, which will make 900, and then make that 1700 from the 800 that we get on round 4. Let's see how this goes. Hound's doing an okay job of clearing the crawlers. Stormcallers, looks like some of them did still end up dying, so not ideal. And yeah, Sledgehammer's here, definitely nice to keep around. He just has way more stuff on the field because he wasn't selling, but hopefully we'll be able to make up for that with a factory tech. And I'm not too afraid of the Sledgehammers here because, again, the factory should be very good into the Sledgehammers, so while it's giving him a bit of an advantage now, that should start to fall off as soon as those Titans hit the battlefield. Round number 4, we get our Typhoon. There's an amplifying core, but nothing really that we can use. Again, this strat is all about economy, right? You just got to trust that your factory can do everything, and that's what we do. And yeah, you can see here, again, the mirror. I'm going to be on the left side, he's going to be on the right side. I decided to pick up the efficient maintenance. He picks up the efficient maintenance, but the difference is I still have 600 left in the bank. And now I'm thinking, okay, what exactly do I want to do? Do I want to pick up one of the spawn techs, or do I maybe want to pick up one of the more battle tech? I decided to go for range enhancement here because I think that that is going to be way more useful. I'm aiming for range and high explosive in this case. You will see that I'm running spawn techs. I've currently moved away from that again, and I'm fielding full battle tech. So I have overload, I have armor, that kind of stuff. But at least here I have range and HE, and HE is an absolutely amazing tech on factory right now. They kind of overbuffed its attack at the start of Season 4, so now you can kind of just click HE for free and still have nearly the same damage on factory as you would previously on a factory without HE. And yeah, safe to say it's pretty insane at chaff clearing when you've got 4 guns, each shooting every 1.8 seconds. Looks like we win the left side, he wins the right side. He's gonna get the debuff first though, but we have the range advantage, and if you manage to get a debuff, hopefully we should be able to win this fight. We are locked on. Factory getting closer, he's locked on to us as well, but we managed to get that debuff, and so we do win this round. Absolutely lovely stuff. Can the factory level? That would be even more insane, but oh, very close. 75 experience off, I believe. Round number 5, nothing too interesting there. I don't pick up efficient giant manufacturing because realistically I'll be buying maybe 4 factories, and that would just break even with the card. Even though the card is going to put me down 150 resources at this moment. So that's just simply not worth it. I decide to skip. We buy another factory on the right side here to try and stall and maybe even contest this war factory, and now he does something that I really wasn't expecting. I thought he would go for range as well. Instead he goes for sledgehammer spawn. Note that he has sold his sledgehammers to be able to afford this. Sledgehammers, in my opinion, are the worst production tech to click into a factory, because the sledgehammers simply get one shot, and they don't offer anything in terms of tankiness. I mean, a little bit of stall, but they don't provide damage, right? A steel ball, at least if it locks on somehow, will be able to deal some damage to the factory, but sledgehammer really can't do that. I guess the main benefit is maybe that I won't be able to lock on to his factory, and that does seem to kind of be the case, although my chaff clear just isn't great, and I'm still trying to work towards that high explosive, which will make it all the much easier to kill everything on his board. I mean, look at this, right? 3,500 damage on those level 1 sledges that he will spawn, and high explosive will just still put me down at what, like nearly 6k damage. Right side we're locked on, left side we're also locked on, but a bit late, so it seems that it did work there. Luckily we're able to take down one of his factories, and we managed to farm enough experience to level up this guy on the left. Keep in mind that he has not managed to amount or amass enough experience to do the same thing, and factory levels matter a lot. Not just in factory mirrors, in any mirror, really. If you are playing the same units, then what's going to decide who wins is typically going to be levels and how many techs you have. Apart from maybe the chaff, but if it's a mirror, then typically those boards will look relatively similar. Round number 6. Nothing of interest. I am debating the Ion Blast, but I was thinking to myself, okay, what exactly do I want to do? I want to pick up High Explosive, that's going to cost 500. I want to pick up this level, that'll cost an additional 400. And then we're going to be up to 900 already. If I pick the Ion Blast, I won't be able to pick up any other deployments unless I sell something. So I decided instead to skip. I felt like I was in a relatively okay spot. The Ion Blast, even if he does pick it, shouldn't do too much. This left factory is a level up, 250,000 hit points. Really, it shouldn't matter. And I really valued the level and the tech more, plus the deployments and taking that Ion Beam. Instead, we're just going to go for double crawler in the back. And I believe that we picked up maybe an attack enhancement. I should have probably gone for temp range. He has been clicking temp range, temp speed. Temp speed definitely does make sense here to click for him as well, as he's the one mostly pushing into me. But I have the chaff clear advantage right now. And he has not clicked range either, so I have the range advantage too. And look at this. That's a factory with HE. Just dealing these big chunks of damage to that level 1 factory on the other side. One already gonna go down, and now the guns will focus on the other level 1 factory. Right side also winning, High Explosive doing so much work. And it looks like we're gonna get to keep 2 factories alive. That's going to amount to at least 1,000, and that's not counting the marksman and some of the stormcallers in there. Really good round. Other factory levels up. Super happy with that, and still he's not managed to get those crucial levels. Round number 7. Unit reinforcements show up. None of these are too interesting. I guess you could try and go for Scorpion with Siege, and just Siege plus Acid here. That would be a play. Alternatively, you can just try and sell whatever drop is the easiest to sell and worth the most. So that would be the Fortress and the Sandworm. And both of us decide to go for the Sandworms and then sell them. And have a look at this. I mean, how much more of a mirror do you want it? Both him and I decide to put our remaining Sandworm on the flanks, top right and bottom left. You cannot script this. And yeah, it's absolute madness. Right factory, we do give it the level. Again, crucial. We get the temp range. We buy another factory, and he's now loaning. We pick up a defense enhancement as well. I mean, that's just going to amount to a ton of extra hit points. Look at that, shooting up to about 290,000. Even though we were sitting at, what, 250, 260 before clicking that. Massive gains on those Titans. And, well, Worm doing an okay job of kind of stalling the units. That might make it easier for this factory to lock onto his units. Sadly, though, we're getting stalled. And it seems like he has managed to lock onto me. He did pick up the range. He's loaning. He's got 4 factories against my 3. But if you count the stats, then really I have 5 factories because I have 2 level 2s. Let's see how this goes. Right side definitely struggling. That late chaff not helping too much. Hopefully we can take down 1 factory here. Maybe even take down 1 more. That would be perfect. Looks like the right side is going to lose it though. But here we go. Okay, we do take down that factory on the left. But seems like the factory master is holding on for dear life. And now he's going to start to get levels himself. But speaking of levels, I believe that one of my factories, yep, is able to pick up level 3. So I'd be happy to pick that up. Round number 8, and here I'm considering, okay, there's a ton of spells to consider. There's Acid Blast that we might have to worry about, and maybe I want to use it myself. My play going into this round was going to be buy oil and go Incendiary Bomb on my Stormcallers to ignite it. But because Acid Blast is being offered, and because I know that he really likes to click Sprinkler on his Hounds to clear fire and acid, I didn't really want to go for that play anymore. So instead I'm looking at that mobilized battleship, and I'm looking at the back of his board, and I'm thinking, you know, I might be able to just get a debuff here, because he only has a marksman on the right side, whereas I put down 2, and this looks awfully vulnerable. So instead of going for that oil play, we decide to go for the mobilized battleship in the top left. I might still buy oil here, but I simply won't go for the ignite play in case he does go for Sprinkler Hounds. And we level our factory. Temp range has been clicked. We are now loaning as well. We sold our sandworm. He did the same thing. And we're just going to put down some shields in case he really tries to greed the acid spell. We can see that he didn't actually pick it up. Oil has been put down. He decides to shield 2. He picks up steel ball production, which, considering that he now has 5 factories, is definitely going to amount to a bunch of value. But I'm not really convinced that that's going to do too much into 4 factories with range and high explosive. But we'll have to see. Does look like that mobilized battleship, though, is going to be undefended. The Fangs will turn, but a pack of Fangs is not going to be enough to take down a boat all by itself. And I'm just hoping that I can get into this tower as fast as possible. The right is definitely my weak side. This war factory is simply there to stall. If we can get a debuff, it might be able to get an immense amount of value and just clear all of those chaff units. Maybe even start damaging some of these factories. We've got to be quick, though, because there's 3 factories shooting back at it. But here we go. Boat gets the debuff. Still about 25% hit points remaining on my right side factory as it's starting to blast his level 1 factory. And now the level 3 is turning, getting pushed even by one of the level 1s, I believe. While I will get debuffed, I think this factory might just be way too tanky for him to deal with. Level 3, 435,000 hit points. And while some steel balls do get through and try to lock on, they simply are too weak to contest this Titan. Hitting for about 20,000 with each of its guns, having 11.5 meters of splash, 155 meters of range. Simply too much for the factory master to deal with. And so we do manage to beat him at his own game. I was, of course, pretty happy with this game. I was memeing a little bit. I just wanted to try out and just fully copy their playstyle because I faced them a lot. You've probably seen a video of me facing them before on my channel. And yeah, we do manage to make it work. Of course, I'm not a complete novice at the factory. I've been playing for almost 2 years now, and I was around back when this was first released. So I am somewhat familiar with playing Battle Factory into normal factory, but yeah, just a silly little one here, although it does inform you somewhat of how factory mirrors go. I don't think that the play is to go for these sledgehammer and steel ball production techs. Typically, I would probably recommend, if you want to go for spawn factory, to maybe go for Phoenix production and then tech something like range and EMP on your birds. That might be a bit better. You can try Stormcaller EMP as well to try and kind of, yeah, get rid of the techs, maybe get some missile interceptors out, get some Mustangs out, and get ahead in that way. But typically, range is going to be the most important, and currently, high explosive is insane in terms of value. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the War Factory and this game. If you want to stay up to date on latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.